Hello, and thanks for tuning into Credit Talk with Lori, your go-to hub where credit professionals share insights and experiences in 5 minutes or less. Today, we're welcomed by Krystal Daughtery, Order-to-Cash Manager with Acuren. Thank you for joining us today, Krystal.
Thanks so much for having me, Lori. It's a pleasure to be here.
So what is a typical day in the life of your job?
I feel like that's such a great question because it is so different. There is a standard. And in all of the credit positions that I've held, I have managed both credit and collections and have been responsible for both pieces. But what I found was when I kind of took a step back is I had predominantly focused the collections piece and kind of just credit when something bubbled to the top. And so I challenged myself one year, probably about 5 years ago, and said, you know what, if my job is 50-50 credit and collections, that's where I should be spending my time. So an average day for me is check first thing, what does my schedule look like? Is there anything that I have on the books that I need to be prepared for, that I got to prep for that day? But then dive in there. And for me personally, I'm more focused in the morning. So that's when I spend all my time looking at those credit files. The types of customers that I'm dealing with tend to be publicly held. So I get the lovely pleasure of reading 200 pages of a financial statement. So really knowing myself, I know that I'm more focused in the morning time to crunch some data, right? And then in the afternoon, I focus on the collections piece and really try to make sure that I'm doing my necessary follow-ups. It's also when I tackle my inbox and get caught up there, because typically if I'm either proactively reaching out to someone or someone's reaching out to me, typically it's because of a collections issue. So those two kind of partner well together.
So in your experience, what do you think is the biggest challenge you face in your job?
Definitely the constant conflict of what I have set my schedule to be versus everyone trying to claim a piece of my time and hijack my schedule. And I know that everyone in credit has experienced this, where you come home for the day and you're like, what did I do all day long? That is a clear example of other people hijacked my schedule because I worked on all their stuff and didn't get to any of my stuff. And so that was where I was like, I got to be better at this. I got to be intentional with this.
Right. So is there anything you can remember throughout your career that was a positive thing that stood out above everything else?
There have definitely been many milestones. I'm a very career-driven person, so there's definitely been cool stuff out there that I've been able to experience and really excited about. But I would say probably just something super early on is, like most people in credit, we just got stumbled into the job. And so my start with credit was actually as a temp employee with Ferguson, and then they made me permanent after 3 months. And a year into my start within the credit industry, I was promoted to a manager. And that just felt so gratifying of, hey, I think I may have found something here that I'm good at and never knew it existed. but this could be it, right? And so that was just the start of everything. And so I think it's the thing that I look back most fondly on.
So do you have any advice for somebody that's looking to get into the finance accounting, but to get them into the construction industry?
So I think that ultimately the way that we attract more people into the construction industry is that we have to talk about what we do, and that the fact that it's actually interesting, it's really cool. And there's nuance between if your customer base is a roofing contractor versus a drywaller versus a painter, and oh, but you don't understand how cool is it that they have different cycles, and just being excited about what we do. I know for myself, I tend to just oh yeah, old hat, right? So I think just bringing enthusiasm to what we do, because what we do, we forget, especially the longer we're here, it is cool and fun and interesting. And especially because the construction industry is impacted by the economy, you can have these well-tenured veterans in the construction world, but then you have something that the economy just has never thrown at them before. And now we're all on the same playing level and we're all figuring it out together and gaining that experience together.
So I really want to thank you for taking time out of your day and sharing your experience and insights. To my viewers, thank you for tuning in to Credit Talk with Lori, and we'll see you next time.